Hey, what's going on, guys? Choco here, and welcome back to another episode of ARK here on the YouTuber server. And today we actually got something that you guys are already familiar with. We're going to go deep sea crate looting again, but this time we're going to go for 4 of the bad boys. That's right, not just 2, which is, you know, what we would normally go for, because there can only be 2 on the map at any given point in time, but we're going to go for 4. And the reason why we're actually going to be going for 4 is because I have this really weird feeling that 4 is the magical number for a guaranteed weapon, and I am bent on getting a weapon. Like, you guys, I don't think you can ever understand truly how badly I want a weapon in ARK right now from these crates, because we've gotten I think we've actually gotten a purple. We've gotten purples, but we've never gotten, I think, like a mastercraft, certainly not an ascendant, but we haven't gotten any of those things, and it's driving me crazy. I want, like, everyone else keeps on telling me, like, oh yeah, like, other people have found some really cool things. I'm like, I want the cool things too. So I'm kind of very, very, at this point, invested, I guess, in just trying to find the dadgum thing. So we're going to try to hopefully find a really swaggerific weapon today. That would be the goal. That would be the dream. But, you know, as is per usual, ARK is ARK. ARK will do whatever it wants. It doesn't necessarily agree with what I always say. But regardless, we're going to do a tiny bit of the pre-episode grind. I did the feeding part of the pre-episode grind together, but we're going to do one little bit just together, because this episode, in terms of the deep sea crate hunting, they will be shorter. I will take cuts between them, as we kind of did before when we did the deep sea crates. But I'm going to be kind of flippity-flooping around and getting all that sorted. I have a ton of this gunpowder. I think at this point it does make sense for me to actually store away some gunpowder into a storage chest. So I'm going to go ahead. That's the attachments box. I think this box is just... oh, it's just dino glasses. Okay, well, more dino glasses for you. Alright, and then maybe you will be okay. Yeah, okay, so we're going to name you... we're going to call you the gunpowder box. Isn't the powder box something? I want to call it powder box. Alright, powder box. And then I am going to take all the gunpowder and transfer it over. 1,900 gunpowder. Some people may think that's excessive, but once we start crafting, we all know what's going to go down. We're going to craft some, and then people are going to be like, wow, it vanished into oblivion. But regardless, at this point, it's not nearly as bad as it used to be to get gunpowder. It is much, much easier now, and I am very much okay with that. That is a development that I am a-okay with. Alright, so let me go ahead, go back... whoop, that's a pillar. Alright, let me go back up, drop some more gunpowder off in the powder box. I wonder if I can... oh, okay, there's spark powder here too. Alright, so let me drop that off here. We do have some spark powder that I need to reallocate, so let me see. I'm assuming you have gotten through. Indeed, it has gotten through a good chunk of our little jerky needs here, so we do have a good bit of that going. We also had some in here, which is also actually going quite well. We are out of spark powder on this one though, so that is not good. That will not fly. Alright, let me go ahead. These are regular cooked meat jerky. I think we will eat these just because at this point I want to get them out of the way. Cooked meat jerky is actually pretty good, but I personally am kind of getting sick and tired of seeing it just kind of wandering about. So we'll probably make some more at some other point. I'm not too concerned about it right now. Alright, let me go ahead, reach back into here, drop off some spoiled meat. I, honest to God, do not need this many narcotics, but whatever. What ifs? It's fine. Alright, go over here and let's go grab ourselves a little more narco berries just so we can make narcotics. Honestly, the one thing that's good about narcotics is I looked up the value of it, and if I'm not mistaken, I think narcotics give you, I think, one of the highest, if not the highest amount of experience for mass crafting of stuff, because we get tons, like we get a ludicrous amount of narco berries, and we can get a pretty decent chunk out of everything else, aka we can get a whole bunch of spoiled meats, provided that we have the right kind of situation, which of course with episode 100 we clearly hit that up. So we got plenty, and we're good to go. Alright, so whoop, let me go ahead, grab me some narcoburras, drop these off, and then take some. I also, by the way, I'm trying to restock a little bit on the beer. and I say restock like we don't have any. We have tons of beer, but I'm trying to actually keep it going, which surprisingly is more of a challenge than you'd think it'd be. But it's fine. I think we're actually doing just fine with the beer stuff. But I did replenish the thatch in there because I did neglect it for a very, very long time. All right, so whoop. Hello? Lag. Okay, there we go. That was strange. Alright, so up and over we go. I think we're just about ready. So let me go ahead and grab myself my gear for going into the water. I am going to take a Mega Meat Mania with me. And truth be told, I should always be taking like a good chunk of the stuff with me, so I'm just going to take a whole stack. It may seem a little bit excessive, but I think it'll end up being worth it. I'm not 100% sure if it'll end up being worth it, but it should end up being worth it, I think. And we actually may need to consider the possibility that I may actually need I may actually need to do something that I did not expect that I would need to do. I might have to make another refrigerator at some point. We'll see. I might play around with that idea, but as of this particular moment, I am not going to stress about it. Alright, anyways, as per usual, since we are going to the ocean, and the ocean is a terrifyingly, awfully scary place, I'm going to drop off all my stuff into this chest right here, and that can go into there. I will hold on to a GPS. Is there anything else that is very much urgently needed to be dropped off here? That should go in there. The fabricated pistol absolutely should go in there, which again, we can make them again and all that junk, but it's just a tremendously big hassle. I don't really want to do that. Everything else looks like we are a-okay. A good number of crossbows and whatever else. Oh, and my armor. And then let's also throw my armor into here. Alright. And then with that, we can go ahead, pick up this stuff. Now, I want to say that we have some Lazarus chowder just kind of like stashed away at the moment, so let me quickly just get not... Oh, actually, no, I need to stay naked for now. I'm going to be naked. I'm a naked man. And let me throw the narco berries into here. Narcob. And then transfer all items. Consumables, rugs, turn on, make rugs. Alright, rugs are now being made. And do I have Lazarus chowder left over still? I do! Excellent. Alright, so I'm just going to bring the Lazarus chowder with me, just in case of emergencies. But alright, cool. So we have some Lazarus chowder. We have ourselves a crossbow, which, and again, at this point, I'm just going to craft these all up. I'm not going to do that while I'm recording right now because I want to spare you guys this sound. That sound a million times over. So I want to spare you all that suffering and pain. But I think we are actually just about ready to embark. I guess I'll leave the oil here. This one's lacking a little bit more oil. Alright, so everything is good. And actually, let's check on the dung beetle because the dung beetle was a little bit buggy. I want to see if it's all fixed up at this point. If, I can ever access it properly because... giant freaking... Alright, Pigeon Princess, this is not okay. You need to leave. You need to not land in there. You chose, like, literally the only area I did not want you to land in. Alright, and a little bit more Dilo eggs. Some poop. Actually, let's pick up some Dilo eggs. We don't really harvest them anymore, but at this point, I'd say let's run around with stacks of eggs if we can. Like, let's actually go out of our way to try to collect some. Alright. And then let's go ahead, throw him violently. Hey, it is working. Okay, good. Because the dung beetle was a little bit bugged for whatever reason, and I guess something that happened fixed it. I don't really know why it fixed itself, but it fixed itself good. All right, poop. Just heard like an army of salvo of poop, so we should have plenty of poop here. All right, poop, 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 and probably a medium one would work here. I don't even know. Hold on, let's see. Let's see how close this takes you. Fertilizers all up in here. And let's up your weight. Alright, looking fancy. Okay, we can actually afford to get one more large poop there, so one of y'all need to poop. Like now. Ah! Ooh, even an extra poop. I don't need one extra poop though. Alright, so, oh, and a medium one. That actually should do the trick. So let me go ahead and drop him off in our little dung beetle buddy, who has wandered into a very strange thing. Alright, and there we go. Yeah, that just about does it. We can maybe squeeze in a little bit, like a tiny little, maybe a little bit. Here. How much does this weigh? 0.3? Well, okay, I could technically squeeze in 3 little poops. And that would despawn cry every time. Alright. Pick this up, pick that up, pick that up. I need 3. Can I reach that one? I don't think I can. Alright, that's okay. There's one more right here. Oh, and perfect. Right on cue. Okay, throw these into there. And we'll take that out. Alright, there we go. Tons and tons of poop. That dung beetle is actually great for fertilizer. It's insane how much fertilizer it takes care of. It doesn't need thatch, anything like that. I would actually say, if you guys ever are interested in playing ARK and you're just like, I wonder what a top priority should be at the start. I think I'm upgrading my position on that to be like, that is an absolute stud when it comes to actually getting that junk done. And also, I'm going to upgrade this one to high. So this thing will shoot actually really, it'll pick up targets from quite a distance away. And in order to make sure that this does not go absolutely haywire and bonkers, I'm going to go ahead and leave it a little bit more fertilizer. It is actually pretty well fertilized, so I don't think I have to worry about it too terribly much. And this guy right here, I'm going to load him up with some fertilizer. The problem with this one is that if I change it, here, I'll show you guys. If I change it to even medium, chances are it'll, well, maybe it just wipe them all out. If there are a ton of fish swimming right here in the inlet, this thing will kill literally every single fish. Problem is, yep, there it goes, shooting random coal. Now, it will shoot them, and the coal, I think, generally try to swim away from it, but it does end up using fertilizer per shot, so pretty darn expensive. That's why the other ones ended up going by the wayside. Just, we don't have enough of the fertilizer to keep that really going forever, and then if it runs out, it's just gone. Like, the entire thing just goes away. Alright, let me grab some Scorpy eggs here. Do a little bit of this. Nope. Wrong. And then Sarco. Really? You guys didn't lay any eggs for me? No, you guys did. I know you do. I know you got me. You got the egg hype going. Alright, looking all fine and dandy. Okay, so at this point, I just have a couple more eggs to check here. Yeah, I can get some dodo eggs. Alright, let's pick up a little bit of these little buggers. And what in the world? Wow. For some reason, I guess when you put the poop next to an egg, it actually looks gigantic. Alright, cool. So that is going to be dodos. And the one set of eggs that we never really cared too terribly much about. Are you in love? Yeah, you two are in love. Okay, you just haven't laid any eggs for me. So the one thing that we haven't really paid a lot of heed to is we've not really been collecting parapal eggs. Like, we have a good amount of these all the time. And we usually have a pretty good amount of trike eggs as well, but I just never really bother with them. But let's do it. Today is the day that we're going to make a new chapter of the trike's lives. We're going to actually give them... That was kind of creepy. But we're going to actually go take the eggs, and then we're going to store them up. Because we don't need them per se, but now that we know about imprinting, I think it's worthwhile for us to collect eggs. We also might need to start playing Matchmaker in the nearest future, because there are so many dinos that we have one of, but we don't have their matching counterpart, which is, you know, not necessarily a big bad thing. Like, it doesn't really impact us too terribly much, but it would be nice to have, I think, matching sets just to make sure that we can get the kibble of whatever we need. So if an imprinting happens, because I didn't do any more research on it, but it really does seem to be that, but it really does seem to be that we got stupidly lucky when it came to actually getting all the imprint done for Teeny Tiny. We got stupidly lucky. No matter how you cut it, we just got really, really lucky that was 100% imprint. Not even planned. Fleep's sake, Choco. Why you English so bad? Alright, anyways, between all those random little bits and pieces here, I think we're all just about in the best tip-toppity shape we can be. Yep, all the fertilizer here has been absolutely grand. Yep, and then let's drop this into there. Alright, so we have 2 extra fertilizer to work with. And if memory serves, so this is the one we already loaded up. I kind of doubt that we have any that survived up top, because the top area gets really crazy. I think what I'll do is at some point I will just load the heck out of the freaking farm plots up there, and we'll get that sorted out eventually. It's just that we're not quite there yet. Let's go ahead and turn that off. And then let me store some eggs. I don't know why I just ran around in a circle. Okay, egg away. Eggs, 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 and eggs. Beautiful. And more eggs. Alright, cool. And then we have 2 things of extra fertilizer just kind of flopping about. Let me see. Where is my friend? Ah. Pretzel eggs. We still do want some of you. Alright, so we do have a couple of other things that will be going on, not today though. But anyways, I'll be back once we're actually ready to go. I'm just going to actually take a gander around the base and such, but I'll be back. So, we'll see. I'll probably see when I find the first deep sea crate loot or something like that. Okay, so a little bit of a change of plan. I've decided I really want to show you guys this, because this is crazy to me. So, normally this took us a little bit. We had a couple of upgrades left on Shark Dog. She is now level 144. She is pretty daggum high level, but look at this. Look at how fast she goes. Like, she just looks silly. Like, she just looks absolutely ridiculous because she goes so quickly. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and see if we can do this actually right quick with you all here. And we're going to have to do this in 2 different parts, right? So I figure that's going to be fair. It'll be totally fine. And who knows? Because the ocean is a really scary place. And it's a really, really bad area in terms of, I don't know, neighborhood went to heck. The neighborhood went bad after we had all those crazy alpha mossies and stuff. Now, technically, I think we're in what the developers are considering to be Shark Week. So there is an increased spawn rate of alpha mosasaurs, I believe. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I think that is the current operating theory, is that there are alpha mossies oot and a boot. And I do need to make sure that I am not on the wrong side of that, because they will wreck my day. I don't think they'll one-bang the Shark Dog. I think Shark Dog is tanky enough that we don't have to really worry about that a whole lot. We don't have a whole lot of meat either. So I'm going to have to eat something. I'm going to have to chomp on something. There's 2 plesios. I don't know if I want to fight 2 smileys. Alright, so onwards we go. Gotta find myself some nom-noms, as well as finding some more of these dadgum loots. So we just checked the bottom 2. So we found that we're always going to start our routes, right, for actually looking for these deep sea crates is almost always going to be the generally same thing. Also, I am using a Lazarus chowder instead of using this tank. I'm going to go from the southwest, loop around the entire southern area, and then from there go on eastward and then loop all the way around the map. That's the way we generally go. So we've taken out 3 of them. There's 2 more left in the southern area, and that's going to be at 69.8 longitude as well as 90, so like right in the bottom right corner, or the southeastern corner of the world. So I do need to push a little bit further. Oop, Shark Dog's a little bit tired. It's okay. It's alright. You're actually pretty decently fast even without a sprint on. So let me go ahead and just mosey on forward. Honestly, bless up for how quickly that stamina regen goes. It is absolutely crazy. Alright. 69.8. Yeah, we're getting around there. Alright, so 91.8, so I do need to be a little bit further south. And there we go. So it should have been around here. If it was here, it looks like a goose egg. Now, I am kind of canvassing a larger area than what I used to do whenever I go for these deep sea crates, because what we ended up finding was that like the coordinates weren't super duper precise. They were pretty good in terms of, like, they weren't, like, really far off the mark or anything like that, but they weren't exactly pinpoint accurate. Now, I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means that they're not pinpoint accurate and, like, they may spawn in an area. Maybe that's what's going on. But I think the far more likely solution is that, or not likely solution, but the far more likely scenario is that we probably have a situation where the actual coordinates given to me, and I'm using this map that I think is from the ARK wiki, and it has like these little stars, and then they have coordinates and stuff. So I think what's going on here is actually we have, that's a smiley, we have a case of the coordinates are not actually 100% accurate, which is fine. Oh, both the smileys are after me now. Ugh. Don't want the smileys to be after me, man. Can we not? Can we not, fam jams? Can we not? Alright, and down we go into the depths. Shark Dog, I really could care less about. Alpha Mossy, which we did spot here once upon a time. Care about greatly. care about a fair deal more. Alright, 90.6. Oh, there it is! Eureka! We found one. Alright, and then I think I'm good just to hop off real quick. Access it. A primitive Parasaur platform saddle. Okay. I mean, especially because it's primitive. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about that. All right, so let's go northward now, and then we will be on our merry way. So one of them has been found. If I find two, that's it. We stop the rotation. I go back into like my base area or do something else basically for a little while because they can't respawn for I think it was like 45 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that. So I'll wait about 45 minutes before we go embark on the next quest, which should give us about an hour or so. And then after we do that, then we can of course go back out, go look for another 2 crates. Should be fairly good, but look at just how quickly we're getting through the thing. Like, honestly, Shark Dog's killing it, man. She is absolutely killing it. But let's see here. I need to be 45 in north. So now we're going up the east coast. The east coast is a little bit different. So I consider the east coast to only have one, which is smack dab in the center, which is 4590. 4590, you can find one potential deep sea crate, but I think, as far as I know, that's the only one that you can actually get. So, pretty important to think about. I would say 4591 is probably... This was the one that I was most concerned about going forward, because we did end up having this little issue where we weren't entirely sure, because we didn't have like the correct list. But I think we'll be a-okay now. Alright, get some fish meat there for my little shark dog. And then 4590. Okay, we got a little bit further to go. Now, Lazarus Chowder has been an absolute wonderful thing to have. It has actually been great. Because Lazarus Chowder has made it so I don't need to worry about my scuba tanks quite as much. And honestly speaking, it's not that big of a deal to repair the scuba tanks and whatnot. The repair costs are actually pretty mundane. Like, they're not too bad. But at the same time, you know, I ain't too keen about using all that polymer, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's far easier to get the cooking ingredients for Lazarus Chowder. Because, obviously, using Lazarus Chowder, we have plenty of the food stuffs, we have plenty of the veggies, we have plenty of the other things, and all that good stuff. Alright, so there should be one north of here, I guess. So it should be somewhere in this coral area. I don't think I'll be on top of this giant rock, although I will give it a look. I won't be on that rock. I'm pretty sure it would be down here. There's a smiley right in front of my face. Actually, let's go get into a fight. The thing is, Shark Dog was actually a fairly strong Shark Dog to begin with. So the Shark Dog itself has a good chunk of health. Angler coming from behind. So I'm not too terribly concerned. Wait, what? Oh, wait, don't run from me. But yeah, it's rocking out like 640 health, something like that. So we have a fair bit. And you can give me regular meat, which lasts a lot longer. Fish meat, of course, and I actually found something kind of interesting out about fish meat. Fish meat, since it does recover less, your dinos will top off with them better. So it's actually, if you want to be absolutely like crazy like thorough about how you feed your dinos, it's actually best to give them a mixture of raw and raw regular meat, as well as giving them some raw fish meat, because raw fish meat will cap them off a little bit earlier. Okay, it only gave me prime meat, a little bit strange, but okay, I suppose. Alright, and then onwards to the next one. So we'll do this rotation together, just so I can make sure that we can get familiar with the path and roughly what we're looking for these locations. But I think the next time around, I'm just going to show you guys whenever we do find the deep sea crates, because I think it's a little bit much to always show this particular part of the grind. Admittedly, it is still part of the grind, but it is a part of the grind that I don't think is necessarily too terribly important to always show. We might show it every now and then, because of course, unexpected things happen in ARK, right? Like that's probably the biggest thing about ARK. YouTubing the ARK experience is kind of strange, because the entire time you're doing this, you're always a little bit nervous that that will be the time when something really, really odd happens, and then you're gonna feel real bad about not having recorded it. So, kind of an underlying fear, but I think that's all fine and dandy. So it should be right amongst this coral right here. Looks like a goose egg, and that's totally what we expect. We expect to kind of hit a lot of these different ones and just find nothing there. We're gonna go west, so we're actually gonna go loop around the island now. So we're looping around Carno Island. I'm looking for 21.8, 78.6. So 78.6, of course, the big one. Alright. Alright, so it's right around here. 21.8, so a little bit south of my location. So it should be like right around this set of coral. Looks like a big old negative. I don't think it's going to be around here. I don't think it'll be in like the super nooks and crannies. I do think that they do spawn a little bit in these weird locations from time to time, but I don't think it's kind of what we're looking at here. So we're going to loop around Carno Island now. I'm going to go north, and I need to get my bearings because I have no idea what's going on right now. Alright, so there's Carno Island right there, and I need to go to 8 and 80. So what we're going to do is we're going to go straight north, basically a little bit to the east, and then we're going to just kind of cut around and go south, well, a tiny bit south, I think, and then we're going to end up going over to 8.4 90.8 as well. But first, 8 and 80. I do want to recover some stamina, so I do not. Whenever we go into the deep, that's whenever, if something were to go wrong, that's where it would happen, right? So. Maybe a little bit further out, like here or so. Ah! Eureka! We found it! Wow, this was actually a really efficient run. Alright, and then a journeyman Dodicarus saddle? Okay, whatever. It's not exactly my first choice, but hey, you know what? I ain't complaining at all. So that's actually pretty cool. We ended up finding ourselves a journeyman Dodicarus. So two critter saddles. I honestly rate that the lowest, honestly, on the totem pole of what is more valuable from the deep sea crates. I really, really was hoping that we would find at least a little bit by way of the other things. Like I really want a weapon. That's the thing. I really dadgum want a weapon. That's a smiley. But yeah. Also, I'm kind of curious. We're gonna just swim back home basically at this point, right? I'm not really looking to get into a brawl or anything like that. But I'm gonna go ahead and swim home. And then as we swim home, I want to keep an eye out for these alpha mossies, because what I didn't know about the alpha mossies is that apparently they come with like a prize. If you manage to take one out, you get a prize for it, which, you know me, I love prizes. So I think we may actually be on the lookout for that. Kind of keen to go find one. Okay, so there is a mossy, a regular old mossy, but I do not see an alpha. They like kind of glitter or sparkle almost. It's really strange. I always feel a little bit hesitant to use the description of they sparkle, because I feel like people don't take me seriously. But that's what they do. They sparkle, darn it. They sparkle orange. It's like someone just took a glitter bomb and just threw a whole bunch of the orange stuff on them. But I don't see... I'm not seeing any alpha mossies. I really doubt they're in these rocky areas. If they are, then that actually might be the way to go try to kill one. Is to just get it stuck inside one of these rocks. That should be doable. Because I think we actually kind of did that with one of our regular mossies, and I feel like the alpha mossie would be really, really accident prone. I feel like that would be the one to get stuck in a lot of really bizarre and awkward situations. But let's go up. I don't know if alpha mossies just if they spawn wherever they want in the ocean. I'd imagine they do. There's a smiley right over there. I don't care about no smileys, man. I don't care about no smileys. What I care about is... I'm about to start drowning. I care about seeing if I can find an alpha mossie. Dunkleo just hanging about. Alright, I need a surface. I am out of air. Drowning sound incoming. Okay, breathe. Alright, and then back down we go. So that's another Dunkleo. We don't care about the Dunkleos. Also, random aside, and I completely forgot that we're supposed to be looking for them as well. We are also looking for those weird, like, lobsters or something. I don't even know what they are. But there's, like... There is a critter that we've never encountered yet in the oceans. And I forget what they're called. They're like I feel like a eucalyptus is a plant, I'm pretty sure, but that's the name. It's like a EU something or another. It's one of those weird ones. It has a weird name. But I am on the lookout for those guys as well. Although admittedly, didn't remember to look for them until just now, which is kind of a bad thing. But I think those guys, I think if I find one of those weird, like, lobsters, I think we can actually find ourselves a little bit of a boon in them. I actually look fairly safe here. Hold on, let me quickly... go look. Okay, it's called a Eurypterid. A Eurypterid, okay. So, Eurypterids, they do spawn actually in this area. So, they spawn predominantly in these... northeastern corner all the way up through here. They're considered to be quite rare, but they also they spawn northeast basically throughout the north coast until you reach a snow area, and then they also spawn the southwest, and then they spawn in the like central south, and then the southeast, like the very southeast. So unfortunately I think we found one. Ow! What the fudge, lobster? I will end you. We found it. Okay, so we found I'm like, yeah, they're pretty rare, and I don't freaking know. Starts looking for them, finds them immediately. Okay, let me quickly end some anglerfish's lives. Yeah, you want to go, mates? You think you're freaking all that? Yeah, you ain't, mate. You freaking ain't. Alright, they're gonna loop around one more time. I know how they think. Oh, punks. Alright. They're really hit and runners. What anglerfish are just like the most like they're the most opportunistic critters you'll ever see. Alright. And I think they're leaving me be because I held my ground. Nope. One who's come back for more. No. Okay. So let me go see. You can't tame these guys. I'm pretty sure it's just you kill them for their nom-noms. Alright, and unfortunately, I do have a little bit of a hard time hitting the buggers. Let's see. Whoop. Okay, hold on. No, it's still very much awake. I thought maybe it had fallen asleep on us. Alright, and actually, let me put the scuba tank on. Because we will not have the oxygen to make do with this Lazarus chowder, unfortunately. Which is fine. It's bleeding. It's hurt. Oh, okay, cool. And the new dossier file. and it is absolutely riddled. I didn't bring a pickaxe with me, so we're going to harvest it with our Megalodon and hope for the best here. But we got the dossier file, which is far more important to me. Hello? Can I not harvest you with a Megalodon? Ah, there we go. Okay, so we got some oil, some chitin, some other random bits and pieces here and there, but nothing honestly too astounding, to be completely honest. It's kind of lackluster. I would describe it as lackluster. It didn't really seem too great for me. All right, cool. So we found, I think that actually, with the exception of the Alpha Mossy, which we've never taken out, that should more or less be every single aquatic we've seen. Okay, we've definitely seen every aquatic creature that is in the game. So it is definitely an interesting point now we're at. So everything by sea we've actually wrapped up, with the exception of killing an Alpha Mossy. But tamables, we've tamed them all. The the random critters we can encounter in the water, as far as I know and as far as I have heard of, I think we're pretty much in good shape here. I'm going to just go ahead and surface, and I'm just going to assume that we're not going to run into an Alpha Mossy at this point. It's kind of a strange assumption, I know, but I feel like they spawned not where I am, because I'm in the icy area. Alright, let me go ahead, just... Actually, I guess we can go all the way home. Let's just do a full rotation. Let's do a full rotation, because if I do encounter one, that will be quite a nice little find for us. So there's the ice beacon up there, right? To the left, right there. Where... Actually, no, it's not. Oh, I'm dumb. Okay, never mind. We're actually we've already reached the west coast. I did not think we were already there, but we are actually already there. The more you know. Alright, so let's see. If we're already there, yeah, let's just look for a Mossy. Let's see if we can find Alpha Mossy down here. If we can find one by our area, whoa, that'd be grand. I just don't think that's gonna be the case. I wish I was that lucky, but I'm really not that lucky of a guy, so can't have too many hopes and expectations, you know what I mean? Alright, floopity floop, floopity floop. Oh, I'm about to start drowning. They surprisingly can survive quite a long time without air. Kind of strange, but still not preferable. Not preferable to drown oneself. Alright, well, either way, I think I'm going to go ahead, park our shark dog over by the raft instead of putting him all the way inside the inlet, because I am going to go back and we are going to go on more adventures together. So let me go ahead and just do exactly that. Alright, shark dog. Chill here, alright? Yeah, you eat that wood. Alright. And then let's see. Let me just see what the spoils of war officially are going to count up at. Take this all off so I can actually see what I'm doing and not run like a freaking goatfish. Alright, perfecto, perfecto, perfecto. Let me hop onto the raft and take a little gander here, and let's read the dossier file for a Euriptid. I don't even remember what it's called. What's it called? A Euripterid. A Euripterid? Euripterid. Pterid. I don't know. I'm starting to confuse myself. Alright, blah, 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 blah. Where are my lobsters at? Lobster, lobster, lobster. We're missing several in here, which is kind of annoying, because I don't know what ones we're missing. At some point, I'm going to have to go through and figure out exactly which ones we're missing. But, okay, the basic stuff. I don't know what would be after a parasaur. I wonder. Alright, well, regardless. Let me go ahead, look down. There it is. The Euripterid. Alright, Euripterid is from the Jachelopterus? The Jachelopterus? Euripterus? Euripterus, yes, okay. So, Jachelopterus, Euripterus, species, Silurian time, diet carnivore, temperament aggressive if approached. Okay, so in the wild, found only in the deepest depths of water around the island lobsters. Like, let's be honest, they're lobsters. Lobsters are dangerous and adaptable arthropods, as likely to hunt as they are to scavenge. A lobster rarely has difficulty finding food to keep itself nourished, even at the bottom of the ocean. A Europe, oh friggin', a European. I actually said it, I think, right, but a lobster's threat does not, or does. What? A lobster's threat comes not directly from its raw strength. Instead, it combines a hard defensive exoskeleton with debilitating poison to powerful effect. The sting of a lobster increases torpor while reducing stamina, quickly rendering its opponent unable to defend itself. Domesticated. While lobsters are not intelligent enough to be tamed, this doesn't mean they aren't without utility for tribes. They are a wonderful source of chitin, and their digestive tract often contains silica pearls. They sometimes even have ingested incredibly rare black pearls used for manufacturing mysterious technologies, making them among the most valuable creatures on the island. So dang, they do give us black pearls. I wonder how rare it is to find them from such things. So it looks like you. Oh, actually, shark dogs have the highest chance of getting them. It's either your choices pretty much are use a metal pick, which actually, yeah, no, you know what? I think we actually did this the right way. Megalodons can get 2. Well, gain per action, it says 2 out of 5 stars, and that's the same exact thing for a metal pick. The Megalodon's actually rated above it in the order. I don't think it actually means it's better. I think it's just the order of the way that they're laid out here. I think it's alphabetical order. So actually really, really good. So we collected it the right way. It is kind of unfortunate that we didn't find a black pearl. That would have been really cool, but alas, looks like we have to go find an alpha mossy kappa. But we are going to need some black pearls for one thing in particular, which is we are going to need this for absorbent substrate. Now, absorbent substrate is kind of a weird thing, but we need 8 black pearls in order to make it. And you might be like, okay, why do we care about this? And it's because the gas mask is going to be requiring it. So whenever we go into the swamp dungeon, whatever that may be, this will be the thing that we need to actually use. Now, the one thing that I think is a little bit spooky is that it is a, how to say? The gas mask is really, really expensive. It requires 10 of that absorbent substrate, and as I was just talking about, absorbent substrate is pretty darn expensive. It requires 8, right? Let me check to make sure that I'm actually correct. I'm not just talking about my butt. But it requires, yeah, it does require 8 of those black pearls. It also requires 8 sap and 8 oil, but those two things are whatever. But it requires 10 of those, so I need 80 black pearls in order to make one. And then after you've done that, right, it has a durability that's even worse than the scuba tank. So it's actually a fairly brutal thing to just look for. It's really quite intense. It is like, it's kind of a secondary thing that you can use in place of the scuba tank. I don't know what exactly this is really for at the end of the day. I did see one thing in particular, which is it did seem to block swamp fever, which I always thought was like you had to be near a diseased leech, and I think that's actually true, but I don't quite understand it. So this is all just very, very bizarre to me because it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But I'm assuming that this is something that you pretty much want to have at some point, so we will make one. I just don't know what the actual functionality is, so we're not in a rush. Of course, the other one that you can use black pearls for, and only requires 1 per, is the Broth of Enlightenment, which gives us something similar to the cake. And that is fairly expensive in terms of stuff. It requires woolly rhino horns, which is something that we've never really messed with, but, you know, besides the woolly rhino horn, it's kind of interesting to see what's going on. Yeah. It's kind of interesting to see kind of like what everything has listed on there. But anyways, we are going to go ahead and take a little bit of a breather here before we go re-engage in our crazy, crazy activities. And actually, you know what would probably not be a bad shout is to go repair my scuba tank, because I'm going to definitely need to use the scuba tank and all that stuff. And actually, let's go ahead and put our saddles that we found onto our critters. The Dodeckers has a saddle on him right now, but hey, got him a fancier saddle, so I don't think he's going to complain. The Parasaur, we never made a saddle for. So, I suppose the parasaur will be happy about that because it's been absorbed into the Ankylo pit. Alright, so let me see. Let me see how big this platform is. I've actually never seen this before. So this one is a regular primitive one. I feel like it's longer than the Bronto one. Are you longer than the Bronto? Maybe it's just because... it looks longer. Dude. Question mark? Oh, there it is. No, okay, no. Bronto, I think Bronto is actually just straight up bigger, so... Dang, that's alright though. That's okay. Alright, so we have that now settled out, and I just need to go ahead and give the Doedicurus this new saddle. I think it's currently running around with, like, the basic saddle. I think we literally just made it for the expressed purpose of just gathering up stone, and I think I was like, oh, whatever, we just grab one, throw it on there, because I don't know where else we would have found a Doedicurus saddle. So I think it's just rocking a regular old primitive. Yeah, it's just regular old primitive one. I'm gonna go ahead and drop that off into here. And let's go ahead and put this saddle onto there. And then, you know what? Let's give it some glass hype. I do like his little glasses. He looks so cool. But anyways, let's look at this. Let's look at the saddle stats rather. 64.8 armor, 146. Oh yeah, that is quite a ways better. Okay, you can be happy with that saddle. That saddle's something to be proud of. You wear it with like a badge of honor. Alright, so anyways, I'll be back once we are ready to go embark on our next bit of the quest here. Are these compies just zipping around? What are they doing? I don't trust where this is going. This looks mucho suspicioso. Buddy, I want you to come here. You stay close, alright? I don't want you. I don't like these compy hanging out around you like that. It's making me very, very nervous because I feel like we're gonna be losing a buddy in the nearest future, which wouldn't be the biggest deal, but like I don't know, man. I don't know how it's going. All right, anyways, we will be back. All right, so I actually haven't just yet found any of our lovely, lovely little beacon friends, but what I have found instead is I found more of the lobsters. So I'm gonna go ahead and poke some fun at him. Hopefully not get the absolute RKO. Alright, there goes one. I think I'm biting the other. Okay, so I've killed two now. Okay, there's one. Chitin oil. Ooh, we got one black pearl! Hey, we found our first black pearl of the game, boys. And then no pearls from that one, unfortunately. Now we are actually really out of stamina, which is not exactly what you want to have happen when you're in the midst of the ocean. Ocean deep is not a place to run out of stamina, and certainly not a place to fall asleep in. So we're gonna go ahead, kind of not fly up, but go head north. But I did think we should go ahead and do that together because I want to make sure that, you know, I would document my unprecedented amount of luck. It does seem that you only get one black pearl per, which is obviously not quite what I wanted to find, because it would have been nice to find a little bit more, but either way, it's going pretty well, I'd say. 2 black pearls, yeah. Black pearls, they're definitely not common, yeah? They're definitely a little bit more on the rare side of the spectrum of things. But regardless, that's okay. We'll learn to live with it. We'll learn to make do. And actually, we're right on top of where a potential location is. Will you be my lucky one? The answer was a resounding no. No that echoed through the ages, through the halls of all the living and the dead. But anyways, I'm going to continue looking for these beacons, of course, because they are elusive, and I need to go find them all and hunt them down and where they stand and blah, blah, blah. So I will be back once we find them. And if I find any more lobsters, actually, or if I find anything else of particular note, I will let you all know. But we'll be back. So we're back with the north eastern part, so right by Carno Island. And we found ourselves another one of these buggers. Now, I don't think there's anything else around me, but we're literally right by where we need to be for the other thingamajig, for the other deep sea crate. But then I found this guy, and no black pearl. Cry every time. Now the one, ooh, little air bubbles. Let's go see what this one's about. They're all the same. I think all these little like underwater cave things, they're all roughly the same. I've yet to find one that really is like very different from the rest. Alright, but anyways, let's take a look and see if we get Lady Luck to shine upon us. 8.4, 90.8, so south and east. So a little bit east of my location, so right around here or so? That isn't right. Hold on. 8.4. Is that on top of this rock? Eight 8.4, 9.8. Yeah, I guess it's on top of the rock. I don't know why, but that for some reason really surprised me this time around. Alright, well, anyways, onward and onward we must look for them. So we've covered all the southern coast, we've covered the north all the way up the east coast. So the east and the south have been now covered. We're just going to go through the north. I think I'm going to make one adjustment to what I said earlier about what we're generally going to do for these runs, which is I originally said something along the lines of like, I want to aim to mostly get the traveling done, so I go from like the south all the way upward. It occurred to me after I looked at the map for, you know, a little bit and just like literally like 5 seconds and my brain was like, wait a minute. It makes more sense for me to go up and through the north first because there's far more density of those beacons up there. So I think that will be what we go for in the future, not this way, because this way is actually a little bit less efficient. Granted, we've been lucky before and so I didn't really mind, but I think what we will do in general from now on is I'm going to go ahead and just go from the west coast up north and then all the way around the map that way, because there are just straight up more spawn locations on the west, on the north, and we should be able to get through it because the east, there's nothing on the east coast, and then the south there's 4, and it's not really that worth it. 3 if you just count the south and the east and not the corners by them, it really is pretty horrifically bad. Actually, while I was talking, we crossed into the next area. 9.6. Like right about here. Looks like it'll be 61.7. Hi. So it should have been right about here, but no dice. Okay, well, regardless. Looks like no luck here. But anyways, we'll be back after we've found ourselves our next deep sea crate. After much journeying, a couple of fights with some plesiosaurs, and then being actually, I think, bitten once by a massa, which didn't do as much damage. We did find one. This one's in the north. Oh crap. Oh god, this is not what we want. 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 Quickly get on. But we got ourselves some boots? I want to say that the boots are the ones that we ended up having just a copy of. We didn't get the blueprint of it ever, but I think that was actually the one that we needed as a blueprint. We have a regular one, again, just not the blueprint version. And these Plesius are, okay, and actually, hold on. So, we'll go check. I can't always quite remember exactly what we have there, but the one thing I will say about ARK and Aquatics, it seems, I don't know if this is just because our server difficulty is this and it changes with the server difficulty, but almost without fail, the plesiosaurs that we find are like level 35, like every single time. Like there's very, very little variation in there. I've killed maybe 6 35s. It's crazy how many of them we find. But yeah, overall, just very, very odd. Because I thought there would be like a little bit more of like a, oh, well, you know, a couple of them are going to be like a couple different levels. They almost always are exactly the same. Like, without, it's really weird, too, because, like, it doesn't seem to make, oh, and there's the other one right there. Try to cheekily grab this and go. Ooh, flippers, okay, journeyman flippers, I rate that highly. And there we go. So still no weapons. I was kind of feeling that 4 would be the the trick here, but apparently it is a no-go, friends. We do not have our wonderful, beautiful weapons yet. We're still on the hunt. So we found two versions. We found a Dodicarus saddle and we found a Parasaur saddle, not the blueprints, but the actual saddles themselves. We also found the blueprints for the boots, and we got an actual pair of flips. 166 durability is actually not too bad. Here, let me go get to the surface where I'm going to be. Actually, we're in Iceland, so never mind. Not actual Iceland, by the by, but an icy land. An icy bit of earth. And the one thing I will say is that I've been kind of zooming around in the bottom of the ocean-ish. Not quite exactly at the ocean. Just now I skipped the whole ice area because I don't like the ice area too much. But I have not seen a single alpha. I saw a couple of mossies. There's actually a really cool like night black one that just looks absolutely lit. But just a whole bunch of plesiosaurs for the most part. Haven't really found too terribly many mossies. We found some, obviously, but we haven't really run into any alphas. And by not really, I mean not at all. So we still are technically in the hunt for an alpha again. We did spot that one, and I kind of thought that it would hang out there, but I guess whenever we had the episode 100, we ended up resetting the server, and I think the alpha went with it, which is kind of unfortunate. But who knows, maybe we can find one. It's alright though, because we'll end up probably hunting down a couple of other things here and there. One of them, of course, being that I need to go look for and really scrounge around to see if I can't find myself the other things, because the not July 4th, but the celebration stuff that they did, it has as part of it, disease leeches dropped some stuff, and I think they dropped the sparklers or something, so I'm kind of curious. I'm kind of keen to go see if I can find any of this junk that they've been kind of like toting for the event, because, you know, I like to collect things, man. We never ended up getting ourselves the birthday top again, or the birthday shirt or whatever, but honestly, I think I can live without it, because we did get it at one point. It's just a matter of we couldn't hold on to it. We ended up dying in a very silly way. But regardless of that, we did end up getting most of what we wanted to accomplish done. I think we collected just about all we can get. One thing I guess we never really did with that event was we never got ourselves the Dodo Rex thing. But I think that's fun. I don't think we get a dossier thing for it either. So regardless, that's gonna be it for this episode, guys. 2 things of pretty decent loot. 2 things of okay loot. You know, I think we'll be a-okay with that as being the result of today's shenaniganry. And actually, let me swim north, I think. Yeah, this looks right. And then I should see the raft a little bit further. Whoop, am I stuck? Alright, no, we're good. Alright, so I think there's my saddle. Yep, and there it is. The scout. The scout ship has been found and identified, and that means we can head on off, take off my scuba tank. We end up using maybe 40% of that, but let's go ahead and compare these two, eh? Alright, 166 versus 45. This thing is over triple the effectiveness, because that would be 135 if we done that, and the insulation is way better. Way better. Actually. Okay, so this offers us 15 insulation. This one offers us 200. This one offers us 40. Okay, so it's like having the mask. It's like having the mask and flippers in one item in terms of insulation. That's not bad. It's not, admittedly, it's not great. I'm not going to be like, oh, it's fantastic, because it's not that wonderful. But I do rate the ability to have a set of scuba gear that I don't have to constantly worry about as, oh, maybe it's going to give out soon, because flippers, that means we can wear it, we can take a couple hits, and we will be a-okay. I shouldn't really be seeing that degrade. And granted, now that we're riding around a shark dog, you can see here, durability's all good, man. All the durability across the board is looking pretty darn good. But anyways, that is all for this episode, guys. Just kidding. One more thing I do have to check. I keep forgetting. I'm going to leave Shark Dog out there. We do need a name her at some point. I will get around to that at some point soon. But I am going to do one last thing, which is let's check to see whether or not we have the right thing of fur armor that we wanted. I also did go through and we added a little bit more fertilizer to all the plants and whatnot, so that should be helpful. But let me see exactly what we got going on here. Also, the Rexes kind of went on a riot a little bit. Something must have come and attacked them, so They did not take to it too well. We did move all of our birds back, sort of. One of them is sitting on top of the dilo pen, like the entrance, kind of strange. Actually, it's standing on a standing torch. Made me laugh, but all right, let's see here. Yup, that was the one, and it was a blue. Okay, so we legitimately have, like legit, have 3 purples. That's insane. All right, so this set of journeyman boots, let's compare it to the blue boots that we actually have. The fur boots here. 62.4, 95, 394, 359. Okay, so not quite as good on durability. That's kind of a shame. 75.5 insulation, so a little bit better, and then a little bit worse for hyperthermic, it looks like. I never really quite understood how to read that. I can't tell what that means, but hypothermic, of course, is the one that we're interested in. The higher that number, the better off we are. So all in all, good. So I'm pretty content with that, and I think we've accomplished just about everything that we set off to do, which is perfect. And then we're going to go ahead and cook this all up into Mystery Meat Manias. Not all of it, but a good chunk of them we're going to cook up. So let me go ahead and go into our little blueprint area. Let me drop these off. I think I'm going to have to make another bookshelf for just armor. I think it's at that point where we have to really think about that. But let's take the Mega Meat Manias. Let's cook some of them up. And turn that on. Throw this into there. Let's just cook them up. And look how fast they cook. It's like instantaneous almost. It's insane. Nope. And throw some of those in there. And alright, I'm good with that. Alright, cool. So 14 Mega Meat Manias in addition to what we already had. I am okay with that. And that officially will wrap up this episode, guys. I hope you all did enjoy. If you did, consider leaving a like rating down below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Next things that we're going to probably try to be tackling are looking for some disease leeches next time. We're going to try to keep the next 2 episodes relatively brief, because I know that some people are just like, Choco, mate, these episodes, they're getting taxing. We went through quite a few really intense ones, so I do feel you, fam. I do feel you. So we're going to go a little bit shorter for the next 2 or so. Maybe a little bit more than that. We'll see how that ends up going down. But I hope you all did have a good time. I'll see you all in the next video, hopefully. And until then, take care and ciao for now. And actually, even past until then. If I don't see you and whatever, that's fine. And if I do see you, I hope you're better even after that, because that made no sense when I think about that statement. I want you guys to feel good all the time. I want you guys to be happy, healthy, and all that good stuff. Alright. Anyways, I'm done being weird. Alright, brr. Oh, so beautiful. Brr.